I, as a person, I have no faith at all in our parliament. In fact, where I sit, I believe when the Kenyan people occupied parliament, we were done with the parliament. And nothing will come out of that parliament that is for the benefit of the people of Kenya. We are done with it. Our next phase was to occupy State House, which William Ruto stopped by bringing the army and goons to infiltrate. An occupation of State House does not in any way mean an insurgency or a coup. It simply means the Kenyan people want a civil conversation on the manner in which they are going to be led. And let us not, when people say, I'm going to occupy parliament, we must, or I'm going to occupy State House, we must be very careful not to start sending fear or encouraging the police or the army to use guns. When somebody says we are going to occupy parliament, what you should be doing is asking the police, asking the parliamentary leadership, can you make sufficient arrangements for the group that is coming, that there's security for the members, there's security for the protester, who has a right under Article 37 to protest. We must look into our debt books and say, anybody who took money in our name without following our laws, you took money that didn't apply to any project. It is not the responsibility of the people of Kenya to pay for that loan. We must unshackle ourselves from this yoke of oppression, both internationally and locally. Internationally, they are the Eurobonders, that is the Paris Club, the London Sovereign Group. Locally are the domestic banks. We must start asking them, when you are taking a loan from the Kenyan government, what is the project that that loan is funding, number one? Number two, where is the parliamentary approval for that loan that allows government to float a bond or a bill? You saw William Ruto when he was saying, because you rejected finance bill, I will now borrow 1 trillion Kenya shillings. I mean, how can someone casually commit the people of Kenya to take a loan of 1 trillion Kenya shillings? He's not even told you what loan, what project does he want to fund. He's not even told you where the parliamentary approval, but he's telling you, I'm going to take a loan of 1 trillion Kenya shillings. You people of Kenya, you must pay for it. You must tell him, no, we are a country of the rule of law. The sovereign people of Kenya have even said in rejecting the finance bill, if you think that this country will only develop through loans, then suspend that development. We don't need it at this particular point because you are taking these loans and applying it to things that don't matter to the people. You are not building any new road. You are not building any new bridge. You are not building any new dam. So we must be able to call him to order. Another thing that I must mention, this space that we occupy, we must jealously guard it. When William Ruto came to space, he was not coming to space because he loves this space. No, he was coming here to take it over. They've been the kings of the streets because on the streets they are able to manipulate our young people. They are able to pay some people to disrupt, to control the political conversation. But on the social media, he does not have control over this particular platform. This is a citizen's platform, and this platform must be guarded and protected to posterity. Any politician who will come here or who will come into leadership in this country, even myself who has said I should be compared to Rigathi Gachagua, I believe I'm a better deputy president than him, if the time came. That politician must be told, you are not coming here to be our boss. You are coming into public space to be our servant, and you must be reporting back to the Kenyan people on space. The Kenyan people who have put you in an office have a right to express themselves in the best way that they know how. If somebody's best way to express himself to say fuck off, then you must fuck off and listen to him. You must give him the respect to express himself, and you must do that which you believe is going to give him dignity when it comes to their governance. We must focus on the prize. The prize is a better governance. Kenya Kwanza may not give us that governance. And I urge our people, do not despair. When you see a regime using all the arsenals and all the tools that have been used before, just know that you're doing the right thing. They started with the police. The Kenyan people overwhelmed the police with love. They tried tear gas, they tried water cannons. It was overwhelming. They went for the army. You are told now the army is out on the streets. The Kenyan people are overwhelming the army with love. Because these are people who are just appearing with water bottles and flags, saying, we are fighting for a better Kenya. Now they've resorted to the last arsenal that's normally used by falling regimes, is to start getting goons to infiltrate try to buy some of who are perceived to be the spear leaders or the ringleaders of the. There's nobody who is leading this thing. So they are finding it difficult to infiltrate. They will take one today, Osama today, but tomorrow a new Osama is going to be born. You'll find another. In fact, you kill one Osama, you take one Osama, 100 Osamas appear immediately to fill that gap. So we must guard this space jealously. Don't even spend too much energy crying over the fallen soldiers who will have been bought by the regime. Our tears should only be reserved for those of our Kenyans who've been killed, the Rex, the Basilisk, the Dr. Margarets, who've died when fighting for a better Kenya for all of us. So let us please focus and let us make sure that we do not relent. And to our members of parliament, some of them who may be on this platform, you must now understand one thing. Power is in the hands of the people. Don't vote as a robot, that something is brought before you and you just vote. Sometimes you may have made a mistake. And I always say, when somebody makes a mistake, I'll forgive you the first time. But your conduct post that mistake. If, for example, the conflict of interest bill that was passed by a Senate, if some members feel that they never fully understood it, nothing stops you from bringing an amendment bill or even introducing amendments that furthers the good of the people. Take it back to Senate. Let us stop spending too much energy explaining ourselves out there for actions that you've done on the floor of the house and you're not correcting it. I, as a person, I have no faith at all in our parliament. In fact, where I sit, I believe when the Kenyan people occupied parliament, we were done with the parliament. And nothing will come out of that parliament that is for the benefit of the people of Kenya. We are done with it. Our next phase was to occupy State House, which William Ruto stopped by bringing the army and goons to infiltrate. An occupation of State House does not in any way mean an insurgency or a coup. It simply means the Kenyan people want a civil conversation on the manner in which they are going to be led. And let us not, when people say, I'm going to occupy parliament, we must, or I'm going to occupy State House, we must be very careful not to start sending fear or encouraging the police or the army to use guns. When somebody says we are going to occupy parliament, what you should be doing is asking the police, asking the parliamentary leadership, can you make sufficient arrangements for the group that is coming, that there's security for the members, there's security for the protester, who has a right under Article 37 to protest. When he comes to parliament, he's given a chance, he's given an opportunity to express himself. If you're going to set the parameter to be the gates of parliament, set it to be the gates of parliament. If it's going to be the lawns of parliament, set it to be the lawns of parliament. But you cannot say, if you come to parliament, we will kill you. And to say this, for these policemen who are currently being misused by the political administration to cause these deaths, I've been in a case, the Baby Pendo case, and in that case, we are suing policemen. We are suing former commanders, OCSS in Kisumu, the ones who killed protesters. They even clobbered Baby Pendo, a 2-month-old baby in her coat, baby coat. They killed that baby. In court, I've looked at all those policemen in the eye. I've seen the fright in their faces. They are being charged for crimes against humanity. They are being charged under the International Crimes Act. And their charging has been approved by the DPP. Those people are now crying in the Constitutional Court, asking, pleading not to be allowed to take plea. When you are deploying police and you're encouraging the killing of Kenyans, please note, when the time comes for you to answer for that, William Ruto, Kimani Ichung'wah, whoever you think is now sending you to do these things or is protecting you will not be there. You will carry your cross alone. Yebe is in court crying today over Baby Pendo. He is facing his day to answer to those charges. And we must document all these atrocities. The beauty is that criminal law, there is no limitation of action. I can sue you today. I can sue you tomorrow. I can even sue you 10 years today, even 30 years today. I can even wait for you to retire before I take you to court. And you will be called to answer to these charges. So anybody who's listening to me, if you come across any police atrocity, any misconduct by a unit sent, just collect the evidence. They may have the gun today. They may have the power today. But tomorrow, they will not be holding that office. They will be called to account. And we must use all avenues available. When you have men wearing balaclavas and running around in a double cabin pickup, and they're covering their faces, carrying assault weapons. That is a death squad. That is no longer about controlling crowds. That's no longer about providing police. And those are issues that we must take up to either our local courts or even higher courts. And we must push to the end. We cannot at any point, even me, if I fall down and die today, this movement that the people of Kenya have started is bigger than me. It is bigger than William Ruto. It is bigger than Gachagua. It is bigger than anybody who has occupied this political space or anybody who has ever represented the people of Kenya. We must now give the people the right to determine their destiny. And that opportunity is here.